The more I awaken, the more I am able to put puzzle pieces together from my formal life to my current life. And if you are on this awakening journey alongside me, or you're deconstructing from religion of any kind, you may have gone through different stages of your awakening. And each stage brings a new way of thinking, a new, we'll just say, an obstacle to kind of wrestle with in your mind and to learn more about yourself, the world around you, and how to perceive it all. Really being awakened human on earth at this time is not super easy, but it gives you clarity and it makes sense of why things are the way they are. Recently, I started having this thought coming into my mind about a verse in the Bible, and this verse is in Genesis 32, and I verse 22 and 20, or 22 through 32, I think is what this is. So this is a story of a guy named Jacob who wrestles with God. And the way that the text talks about this is that Jacob was out kind of, I don't know where he was. The way I envision this is like he's out in the wilderness on a rock. I don't know why that comes to me, but it kind of like reminds me of, like, if you've been to Sedona, that's kind of the picture I see. But I see this person, this guy named Jacob, wrestling with this idea of who he is, who the world is, and how to perceive it. And I think that we often do this in our growth, in our spiritual understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We go through things where we start to wrestle with our ego, where we start to try to figure out, what do I align with, and what do I see as truth, or what do I see as something that was told to me that maybe isn't true. And as we all kind of wrestle with our own selves, we begin to awaken. The wrestling and the questioning is what allows the awakening to take place. And this is something that my spirit team gave to me last night, and it made complete sense to me about why some of us might be awakening and others might not be. And I heard the thought come into my mind: you cannot receive something that you are not seeking. You have to seek to find something. You have to ask to receive, and you have to knock for the door to be open. This is a teaching of Jesus, if you did not know. So, those of you that have come across my page, I've been getting a lot of messages and things coming towards me saying, I don't know Jesus, I don't know God, I haven't read the Bible. I actually have a degree in Bible. I went to a Christian college. I worked in a church. I have been there, done that. I was a women's leader. I was a Sunday school teacher. I absolutely 100% repented as many times as I possibly could to try to be everything that God wanted me to be the best Christian, the best believer that I could be. And the wrestling that came up in me led me to where I am now. And that is into an awakened state where I see and perceive things beyond the logic of the human understanding or what other humans have told me to believe. So Jesus actually taught us to go inward to find our truth, to go inward to find the kingdom of God, to go inward to wrestle with the ego to learn who we truly are. And as you question, as you allow yourself to expand in a critical thinking way, you open up your consciousness to receive more information. Without a question, you remain closed. You shut off the ability for the universe to come and give you a message. And so, what this really is saying is, when you ask, you receive the answer. So the asking part is important in our awakening. The seeking part is important in our awakening. The knocking and the way I see this is like you just keep knocking to find the answer. There's always going to be a new door to knock on when you are awakening. There's not a single person or human, no matter what they say, on this earth that will ever have everything figured out. We have this ego that keeps us grounded into our human experience, but the ego often needs to be trained, the way I like to describe it, trained to trust that we are being guided towards something more aligned with our true self, which is our spiritual self, which is our soul, which is our higher self. So as we open up the question, we open up the ability to receive. So the people that may not be coming into the awakening at this point are not in a place where they're questioning. They're not in a place where they're asking the answer for the answers. They're believing and they're trusting in what they already know. And when you already have shut off the idea that I have it, I know there's nothing more for me to receive, then the universe cannot bring to you what it is that is beyond that understanding that you developed for yourself. So, really, by allowing something to come into our conscious field, to our logical human understanding, to bring questioning, is the way that we awaken. So how would the universe do that if people aren't questioning? Well, they bring circumstances into their life that make them start to question. And in many ways, I believe this is also part of what we see happening in the world right now, and why so many trusted in this man called Trump. And now this is all taking place with Trump. Now, some people are still not going to question him at all. And that's where they are. And we just have to trust that that's okay for now. And I know it's frustrating when you are in a different place, but understand that providing something to the world to question, to wonder, wait, I trusted this. I believed in this. Now this is turning out to be different than what I thought it would be. That gets people thinking and opening up their conscious mind to ask the questions. Wait, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem like it makes sense anymore. And in the questioning, the answers come, because you receive the energy in which you reside in with the universe. The universe always agrees with the energy that you have, and we all have free will. So if I'm shut off to receiving more from the divine's not going to force itself on me. But if I am open and I'm questioning in any type of way, the universe sees an opportunity to start to bring something into the awareness to teach us, this is the way. Walk in this path. This is who you are. And then it always guides back to self. It always guides back to inward, into your heart, into your own way of thinking, to the way that you perceive love. And so as we continue to ascend as a human race, there are going to be lots more opportunities for humanity to question themselves. And a lot of the things taking place outside of us are going to be those things that come to help more people awaken. I know this is frustrating for some of us that are already on this path, but we have to remember we hold light. We are grid workers. What I mean by a grid worker is we actually, if you could imagine the energy around you is like lines, like kind of like a matrix. We go into that field and we hold light for other people to find their way out of the darkness. So we are not necessarily warriors against the dark. We are light beings illuminating the dark, which allows the darkness to transcend and to move into a lighter form. And if you are truly working on coming into more of an understanding of yourself, just like I was talking about with Jacob wrestling with God, this is a constant wrestle. Eventually, the wrestling doesn't become so hard or scary, but there is always an element of growth where you are always going to be wanting to know more. And that's actually positive. We can't ever get complacent. That's when we start to kind of block the universe from bringing things into our life or aligning with our true self. So if you are wondering, how do I help my family members or how do I help my friends awaken? You just ask the universe to give them opportunities to question. And that's not necessarily going to come from you. It has to come from something outside of you, because if they know you too well, they're not going to listen to you. That's just the truth. Like, we are least likely to listen to people we know than people that we don't know, just because we're just so stubborn. Our egos want to protect us, and so we tend to shut off things that feel familiar, and we get our egos gets threatened and like, wait, no, I already know, I don't need to hear from you. So ask the universe for opportunities to bring things into the awareness so they can see differently. And it doesn't mean they see exactly like you, but it means that they begin to have the question to begin to get the answers. So I hope this helps. And I would love to hear if you have any other topics that you would like me to dive into. If so, just write them below and I will bring those to you soon. I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.